stop that session. Now I'm going to teach this particular example. Rather, I'm going to say this example with the yesterday's program, and we will add some more programs to it, and let's see how it goes. Okay, so I'm sharing the screen first. I guess many students have not came because yesterday I said it is the last session. So actually it is not the session. Today's session is the last session. So hope so. The link is sent to everyone. So let's see, more and more candidates will join. Okay. Currently we have 21 candidates. So hope so it will reach to 40 as we have started on the first day. Okay. Now is my screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right. Okay. So now I have already shared the screen. Now I'm going with the Eclipse. So Eclipse is already open. I have made it before the lecture only. So I will increase the size of the font so that you can see it comfortably. So let's go to general. In general, appearance. In appearance, colors and fonts. So we got it from window preferences. Now what to do here? You have to type font text. Okay, so you can get this particular font text here. Okay, see here. Okay, so go to edit and increase or decrease the size as per your requirement. Okay. Okay, so let's edit it. So I will make it as 14, so it will be visible to all. Apply and OK. I hope now the font is increased and you can see it comfortably. Okay, so yesterday we have added 3 files, that is hibernate.cfg.xml, insert mail, and customer.java. Okay, and we have also added certain jar files. These jar files are required to execute the Hibernate application. Okay, so total 11 files are there which we use for executing the Hibernate program. Now let me tell you, Hibernate have its own language called as HQL. Hibernate have its own language called H. H for say H for human, right? So H for human. So we are using this particular technology on the particular Hibernate language or Hibernate. We are using HQL language, which is stands for Hibernate Query Language. HQL stands for Hibernate Query Language. So many of us are already knowing the SQL, that is Structure Query Language, which is a language used to communicate with the database. But here we can also use one more language called as HQL, that is Hibernate Query Language. Okay, now what is the difference between SQL and HQL? SQL used to execute on database, whereas HQL will work on Java class files. So class file like Pojo class, which we have created yesterday. So this is the Pojo class. So whatever queries you are going to execute, that will get executed on this particular Pojo class. That is what we mean by HQL. I repeat, SQL are executed on SQL databases. That database can be MySQL, Oracle, Microsoft SQL Server, any type of database. Now, what is HQL? HQL will not execute on database. HQL will execute it on Pojo class. Pojo stands for plain old Java object. So I have this 11 files. One file from that is also MySQL connector. Okay. So you can see here, I have created one package called as org.entity. You can expand this src and also see that. Okay, so just click here. Okay, you can see here org.entity package is created, and in that we have kept a Hibernate CFG language. Okay, so where is this? This is inside src, not inside org.entity. this Hibernate file is inside src, not inside org.entity. So in org.entity, we have two classes, customer and insert main. Okay, so I have opened customer in front of you, where you have this package, and you have another package called as javax.persistence.entity. Okay, now why this package is important? Because we are using annotation called as entity. What this annotation will do? This annotation will create a table with the customer name, and columns will be cust ID and cust name. Okay, so table name will be customer and columns will be cust ID and cust name. And on this cust ID, we have created a annotation called as ID, which will add a primary key on this cust ID column. Okay, so this is going to be a customer, going to be a name of the table. Cust ID and cust name going to be a columns inside the table. And on cust ID, we have put the primary key. How to put primary key? By writing @ID. And to get the value and to send the value, we have getter setter method. So get will get the value and set will ask the value. So like that, I have it for customer cust name also. Get cust name, set. This is what your Pojo class. Now we have also gone through the file called as hibernate.cfg.xml. I show you that file one more time because last time it was not shown properly. So now I'm showing you properly. So I have clicked on hibernate.cfg.xml. Let's wait for some seconds. It will get load. So you can see it is the hibernate.cfg.xml. Okay, now few students ask, sir, do we have to write all this content? The answer is no. Right? Why? Because this content are already created. These contents are already created. You can go on Google and say hibernate.cfg.xml. You will get this kind of structure. So whatever I have selected, that you will find on the file which you find on the google.com. Okay, so this is the case. Now remember, we have certain interfaces in Hibernate. I will write the name of that interfaces. Okay, let's wait for some seconds. My notepad is getting loaded. Okay, so we have Hibernate interfaces. What are those interfaces? We have configuration is the first interface. Now, what is that? What it do? We will see when we start the classes. Right now, I'm just telling you basic information. Then we have session factory. Then we have session. Then we have transaction. Then we have query. Then we have criteria. Okay, so till query, it is called as interfaces. So we have 5 interfaces. What are those? Configuration, session factory, session, transaction, and query. And criteria is not a kind of interface. It is a provision made to execute the specific record. Like for example, we write in SQL like select star from employee, where address equal to say India. Okay, so this where clause can be utilized in Hibernate with the criteria. Okay, so how you will achieve this where address equal to India? Using this criteria object. Okay, so we will see that afterwards. Okay, so remember this kind of interfaces. This ask in interview, what are the Hibernate interfaces? Now remember one thing, you need to create object of all. So I show you how to create object. So I will go back to the Eclipse and I will show you it here. So you can see inside insert main, I have a session factory created. How to create session factory object? Using session factory interface. So this is the object of session factory interface. How we created this object? We said new configuration.configure.build session factory. Okay, now there is another way also to create the configuration object, but we are right now going to use this much. Okay, so we have created an object called session factory. How? By executing new configuration.configure.build session factory. Correct? Then we have created a session object on session factory. So we said session equal to session.open session. So what it will do, it will open a session for you. So this is how we have created session object. Then after creating session object, we use that object to begin the transaction. So here we are starting the transaction. And after that, I'm saving the object called C. So what is there in C object? We have value like A1 and Nilesh. So these values will be stored in database. Okay, and after storing or saving the particular file or object, we will say session.begin transaction.commit. And as an acknowledgement, we will give a message as data inserted successfully. So this is how we have created this file. Okay, now I will take you through the configuration file. This is a very important file. Without this file, you cannot develop a Hibernate application. So initially we have four connection properties. That is, first is driver class. So which type of driver we are using? We are using com.mysql.jdbc.driver. This is a type 4 driver. This is a type 4 driver. As I said in my JDBC session, that we have 4 types of drivers: driver 1, driver 2, driver 3, and driver 4. So we are using driver 4 in our application. Okay. Then I have used URL. So what is the URL? URL is this is the URL. So here we said JDBC colon MySQL, means we have said that in MySQL I want to store the data, not in Oracle, not in SQL Server. So it will get stored in MySQL. Then localhost. What is a localhost? Localhost means the current laptop or current PC. If you want to execute on any other PC, then you have to give IP address here. Then there is a port number 3306. 3306. This is a reserved port number for MySQL. And then after that, we have MyDB, which is a database. So yesterday I won't able to show you that database. So now I will tell you. I will open it in MySQL. Okay. Okay, so let's go in all programs. Inside all programs, you can see here is the MySQL. So click on it. We are using 5 version. Click here. So database will also get open, and then we can comfortably understand this connectivity and how the programs are written. Okay. Wait, it is taking some time to execute. Meanwhile, you can just go through with this particular connection properties. First is the driver, second is the URL, third is the username, and fourth is the password. Okay. So we are using MyDB database in MySQL. So my SQL is getting open. Wait, I will close this. So remember these interfaces, we have configuration, session factory, session, transaction, and query. With that, we also have criteria. Okay. But criteria cannot be a, criteria cannot be a interface for Hibernate. Let me check whether it is open or not. It is not yet open. Okay, we will see the code ahead, and then we will go back to the database. Okay. Correct. Now, so after these 4 properties, connection properties, we have to give a dialect name. This dialect will act as a interface with the database. If you want to communicate with the database, what all things are necessary? These 11 things are necessary. These 11 jar files. So the jar files I'm selecting here. These jar files we require for connecting with the Hibernate. And also we require this particular dialect, which I'm double clicking here. This dialect is also required with jar files. Okay, so MySQL dialect is used for connecting with the MySQL. If you are connecting with SQL Server, then you require SQL Server dialect. If you use Oracle, then you require Oracle dialect. Okay, so this information you can take it from the Google. Okay, so I have taken it from Google itself. Okay, then I have a provider second level cache. Now, what is second level cache? It is a big answer for that we will see later on. So we are using second level cache as no cache provider. Okay, then we have show SQL as true. Show SQL as true, and we have set the command, set the HBM to DDL as create. Means when I execute the program, Pojo class will create that table with the columns. Okay, and at the end we are giving the name of the Pojo class. So this is a name. Customer is the name of Pojo class. So what this create will do, it will create a table in as a customer, and it will put the columns in that particular table. Okay, so this is how your hibernate.cfg.xml is all about. Okay, I guess SQL is not started. I will click again. Okay, so I have showed you two files just now. One is hibernate.cfg.xml. This is the one, and second one which I have showed you is insert main. So this is actual main method where we are creating object for the customer class, and we are setting the values like ID1 and name Nilesh. Okay, so once you say session.save, this record will be inserted in your table. What can be the table name? Customer. What are the columns? Name and address. What will be the values? 1 and Nilesh. Correct? So for this, we require a configuration object. So this is a configuration object we have created, and we have called configure.build session factory method. So using this kind of code, you will able to create session factory object. So this is a session factory object which is required to create the session object. Session object is required to create the transaction. And what will be the transaction? A session.save. What will be the transaction? Session.save, right? So first you have to create configuration. On this configuration, you have to execute configure.build session factory. Using this, we will create the session factory object. Now, session factory object is used to create the session object. Now, session object is used to create a transaction, and session object also used to save the record. And after saving the record, we will commit it. What is commit? Commit means it will permanently store the data in database. Okay, and acknowledgement we are giving is data inserted successfully. Okay, now this is my database which got opened now. So I will give a password as pass. The password pass. Okay, so you can see my SQL got open. You can see the prompt here. Okay, now what I will do, I will use database called as MyDB. So where we can see the database name, you can see it in hibernate.cfg.xml. This is the database. Okay, so what I will do in MySQL, I will say MyDB. So I have changed the database. Now I am inside the MyDB. Now I will say show tables. I will say show tables, which will give you the names of tables. Now here, yesterday I have created the table, so I will drop it now. So I will say drop table customer. Right now you can execute show tables again. So you cannot get that particular customer table here because I have removed it. Now customer table will get created again when I execute the program. Why? Because customer table will be mapped with the Java class, and columns are mapped with the variables of Java class. So I'm going to do the same, right? So go to main method, and I'm going to execute this particular program. So right click and say run as a Java application. Okay, so that the query is executed. Wait for your turn. That is session data inserted successfully. This message you will get. Yesterday we have stopped over here. Now it will show you the message as data inserted successfully. Wait for seconds. It will give you that particular acknowledgement. Yes. So we got the acknowledgement. Now, which query is executed? This SQL query got executed on the database. Why I'm able to see this? Because in configuration object, I said SQL true. I said SQL true. You can see here, show SQL true. If I say false, then what will happen? This query will be not visible. This query will not be visible. This is visible right now because I have set the property for show SQL as true. So when it is true, it will show you the particular syntax of that particular query. And after that, we are getting the acknowledgement that is data inserted successfully. So let's go to this database and say show table. So you will find your table here. See here, customer table is created. In this particular, it was not available because I have dropped it. So after dropping, I executed the program and find that customer table is created. Now we were very enthused to see the records of that. Select star from customer. So you will get Nilesh record here. See, first ID 1 and Nilesh. Understood? Right? So I'm putting this file in front of you for some minutes. Go through this file, and if you have any questions, you can ask. This is a Pojo file which I'm putting in front of you. Okay. So just go through this particular file. Just a minute. Yeah, now you can see it comfortably. Someone is coming inside. Okay. Sorry to disturb you. Okay, so this is your Pojo class where we have put the annotation called entity on the customer class. Why? Because we want to create the table with the same name. We want to uh, have a same name to our table. And ID will put the primary key on this column, cust ID. So cust ID and cust name will be the columns inside your table. Okay. Now I show you hibernate.cfg.xml, very important file. So here I explained you about data connection. Just go through that. Okay. Shall I scroll down? I will try to make it in a visible window here only. Yeah, now it is visible. You can see all the commands, all the properties. Okay, so I hope you have gone through this file, and now I'll show you the main method of the class where main method is there. Now I will change the value. Now I will say 2. Already Nilesh value is there, right? So 1 Nilesh is there. Now I am doing second Himanshu. Okay? Now I'm executing it. Now what will be the record? What should happen? The record should be entered as 2 and Himanshu. But now there is a twist in our picture. Okay. Now what will happen? This will execute and this will get overridden. So the value which you are going to use is 2 Himanshu. 2 Himanshu. So this record will store in database and this record will automatically removed. Why? Because I have create method written. I have written create method. So what happened by putting create method? It will remove the 1 Nilesh record and it will enter customer the 2 Himanshu record. Okay, so I'm right clicking it. Just have an experience of that. Now that is why we are going to put that particular create method as update. You say okay here. Now you can see the record Himanshu record and Nilesh record is will get was get deleted. So wait for a second. It will show you message as last example. Okay, so you can see here you got the message as data inserted successfully. Now go and go in database and check. See which value who you have. You have 2 Himanshu. Where is 1 Nilesh? This got removed. This got removed, and in place of that we have 2 Himanshu. Why this happened? Very simple reason. As I said, hibernate.cfg.xml file contains HBM to DDL auto as create. HBM to DDL auto is create, right? So if it is update, then this particular value was not deleted. But right now it is deleted. Why? Because I have used a property called create. Now let's put it update and see the difference. Now I have put an update as a property. Okay, now you can, I have made it update. Now I will change the record. I will put the Nilesh record back. Okay, so I will go to this main method. Okay, now you will find both the records will be there. Himanshu record also there, and as well as Nilesh record will also there. So just make it as Nilesh. So right click. Run example. Okay, so I have already executed the program. Now again, you will see message as data inserted successfully and query also. See, data inserted successfully. And let's go to database and check what records you have. Yes, now I have 1 Nilesh and 2 Himanshu. So both records are there. How come? Because I have written update. for HBM to DDL auto. If it is create, what will happen? The initial record will get deleted and new record will come and sit. But if you say update, both the records will be there. That is what create and update. Okay, that is the difference between create and update. I hope you have understood this. Okay, I will go for the next example, right? Now I will show you how to read that particular record. Okay, so for that I will go to my file where I have created all these things. Okay, so I'm going to explain you this main read main. So I will copy it and I will put it into Eclipse new file. So right click in here and create a new class, and that class will copy it. Okay, so it is read main. Okay, so I pasted it now. Okay, now you can see the same program. This thing's going to be same first two lines. Okay, why? Because we need to create a configure object. On configuration object, we are going to create session object. On session object or session factory object, sorry. On session factory object, we have to create session object, and then we have to execute this query. So now our class is customer. So I will say customer. Object name you can keep any, but it should be understandable. So here I will put C. Okay, for which class we are typecasting it. We are typecasting is for customer class. Here it should be also name of the class. So it is customer. Okay. So what I have did is I have used get method, and from this particular class I am retrieving first record, that is village record. So this first record will come and sit in this object. Come and sit in this object. Then I will close the session and session factory. Okay, and I will print that particular object. So C will print the data in object format, and this will print in a string format. Let's see, execute it, right click, and run Java application. Okay, there are some errors. Let's find out, because methods I have not changed. It should be get ID, right? Get first ID. So I have not given that method here, so I'm giving it now. Okay, so trust ID, and here it is trust name, right? So this get values, what it will do, it will retrieve the record, and it will show it to you. Okay. So just say run as application. And you can see the query is executed, and within seconds you will see your record. See here. This is the object. Why this particular ID is printing? Because I said system.out.println C. So C is the object, and this is the ID of that object. Okay. And then I said first village. So I have able to retrieve the record which I have inserted from the insert main method. So likewise, we can perform many programs on Hibernate. So there is something called JPA, Java Persistence API. That also we have to learn. We have to learn SQL language. We have to learn, using the joins. So that joins also we will do. For that we use Hibernate mapping file. Okay, so lot many things are there. This is just like a trailer I have shown you. So once you, so if you are interested, we will start the sessions. You contact with the particular HR person. You can enroll yourself, and we will see all type of programs in our session. So now I am concluding the session. I am waiting for your answer. If you want to ask any questions, please ask. Any questions for me? Because I have completed my session here. And now I'm waiting for your queries. If you have any queries related to technical, I will solve it. Anything you want to ask?
Hello.
Yes, Pankaj.
So what is the main difference between Hibernate and Spring?
Spring. What is Hibernate and Spring? What is Spring? Why it is a
Yes, sir.
difference? Spring and Hibernate. No, there is no comparison between Spring and Hibernate. Spring is an object and Hibernate is a technology. How?
And then what is a Spring Boot?
Spring Boot. Okay, Spring
Yes.
Boot. Spring Boot is something which allow us to uh, set a class with minimal what do you say minimal requirements. Okay, like for example, in our Spring, what we do is we write dispatcher servlet, we write XML. So dispatcher servlet and XML will not be there in Spring Boot, because Spring Boot will take that application by default. So we have to write very few programs as compared to Spring. Similarly, there is one more difference is you can say Spring Boot equal to Spring minus XML. Okay, so that equation will suit for my answer. So I write it here so that you can understand it. The Spring Boot, if I want to define Spring Boot, I will say Spring Boot equal to Spring minus XML. So whatever XML files are there, that will be removed in Spring Boot, and only other files will get executed. So that is what Spring Boot. In Spring Boot, you can use REST services also, and you have something called Thai lemon. Okay, so there are few changes are there in Spring Boot as compared to Spring.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. I hope I have answered your question. Any other person you want to ask?